you guys? Hannah here, and today I thought we could talk a little bit about another theory that I have. Now this one's not really considered a conspiracy theory because it doesn't really have to do with like the government or other people or like aliens or something. This is a theory that everyone has the same favorite color. But I do want to say before we begin that this is just a theory. I'm not saying that it's true or that I necessarily believe it's true or that I think you should believe it's true. This is just a theory. Yeah, just a theory. Don't sue me. There's this theory that we all see colors different. And you probably know about that theory, but in case you don't, I will kind of brush up on that. The everyone seeing different colors theory is basically like this. I see these trees, like this is trees, this is sky. Just don't comment on my artwork, okay? So I would point to these trees and say green. I would point to the sky and say blue. But let's say I have a friend and they see their colors like this. They were still taught when they were a kid that trees are green and sky is blue, so they would point to this color and say green, and they'd point to this color and say blue. Even though this is what I consider green, this is what I consider blue, this would be what they would call green, and this would be what they would call blue, just because that's what they were taught as a kid. So that's the theory of like everyone's seeing different colors. Now that's a common theory, a lot of people know about it, and I was sort of thinking about that theory when I came up with this one. It's that what if everybody had the same favorite color? My favorite color is green, so I would point to these trees and say there's my favorite color. But I have a friend whose favorite color is blue, so she would point to the sky and say there's my favorite color. But what if she saw her colors like this? So I would point to the trees and say there's my favorite color. She would point to the sky and say there's my favorite color. Really, we'd be pointing at the same color, just neither one of us would know it, and we'd be calling it by different names. And that theory would work with all different colors. Like, say I have a brother whose favorite color is orange. So he would point to this basketball and say my favorite color. And I would point to the trees and say my favorite color, and my friend would point to the sky and say my favorite color. But what if my brother saw things like this? So he'd be pointing to the basketball, my favorite color. I'd be pointing to the trees and saying my favorite color, but we'd really be pointing to the same color. And then my friend would see things like this. So I would point to the trees and say my favorite color. He would point to the basketball and say my favorite color, and she would point to the sky and say my favorite color. We'd all be pointing to the same color, just none of us would know it. We'd call it by different names. She would still say the sky is blue, he would still say basketballs are orange, and I would still say trees are green, but I mean, like, they're the same color. They just have different names. Now, I hope that wasn't confusing. I've tried to explain this to a couple of friends of mine, and they have all been slightly confused at first, but then they sort of started to understand. I thought maybe if I used the pictures, that would kind of help me express the theory a little bit better. But you might be thinking, but Hannah, me and my brother have the same favorite color, we both like green. Maybe that just means that you guys both see colors in the same spectrum-ish. You would have things like the more common favorite colors like blues, greens, red, pink, colors like those that a lot of people say are their favorite color. Those might just be the more common color schemes. People who say their favorite color is things that most people don't like yellow or orange or like brown or something like that. They might just have more rare color schemes that they see. Well, that about sums up my favorite colors theory. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, or if you think that this is an interesting theory, make sure you leave a like and a comment down below so I know you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any more of my new cool stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Bye! Also, comment your favorite color, and whoops.